welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Yay! Well, before I forget, let's get it done right away, shall we? My blood sugar is 14.8, so I'm actually dropping, which is great news, trust me. Today I want to talk to you about complications. Yes, I know I did a whole series on complications, but I want to talk a bit more. Now, when you go see your doctor's going to have you do a whole bunch of blood tests. You're going to have to get a rec, you're going to have to go to lab. Luckily in BC, most doctor's offices or another building close by will have a lab. You go in there, you take a look, they're able to decipher whether you have any signs of complication. Now we know complications can be the heart, intestinal problems. There could be a number of things. But you want to ensure that you catch it quickly. If you don't, well then, it's going to cause problems with your diabetes. And I think we've talked about this before. You need to ensure that your diabetes is under control. But you have to make sure that you continually keep such things under control. Never allow things to get out of hand. Because this wasn't a complication, but how things can snowball very quickly. In my early teens, went out to a birthday party with friends. And at this birthday party, I had a little too much fun, let's say. I drank a bit. I had a lot more food than I was entitled to. But I took some insulin and hey, I was fine. So you know what? Here, I thought I was invincible. And things just kept getting out of hand each and every day. Oh yeah, I started grabbing chocolate bars and candies just out of oh well, it didn't hurt me before, it's not really gonna hurt me. And probably one of the worst advice is something I have said on this video, is type 1 diabetics really don't have restrictions on what they eat. However, it means that you're not going to be able to have everything under the sun whenever you want it. What it does mean is if you go out for dinner, you could have an extra serving of meat, or you could have an extra serving of dessert. No, a serving of dessert. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. But why? I think, especially with me, and I think it's probably going to be the same right across the board, is if you give in a bit, it's just going to be easy. On the flip side, whenever things go wrong, we don't get it taken care of. Now, I did a training exercise over Victoria. And I have some, I call them stitches in my side. But if I kind of maneuvered my body, they would go away. So I thought it's a lot. I was tired. It's a long ferry boat ride. And then I'd have a bus ride into Vancouver. And then a SkyTrain home. SkyTrain is like our subway. And so I thought I'd sit down in a coin-operated massage chair. The type that you sit in, it says, put in a coin. So I put it on, and it was causing so much pain. I eventually had to stand up and go sit in a regular chair because this was too much. Eventually, after an hour and a half, we were getting close to the port. I went down, walking very slowly, down to the where you got the buses on the ferry. I got on a bus, I sat down, and the whole ride into Vancouver, it was, ow, oh. But things started to work quite quickly. There was something wrong. But I came home, I felt fine, and next morning I woke up, felt good, my back didn't hurt, I was able to walk, so I had a training class, so I went, I was up on my feet for most of the day, till around 1:30. I trained in a convenience store setting, so the lunch crowd had pretty well disappeared. But I couldn't stand. I had the pain in my side. I could hardly wait to get the class out of there. I was leaning over the counter for a bit, and then that got uncomfortable. So I ended up sitting down, and the person would show me an item. I'd tell them the price. They'd bring it in. And that worked out well. I couldn't go on with the class. Luckily, I did have a class the next day, and it was going to be an office day. So I went in, and I went home. I could barely make it home. I could make it to a chair or someplace to sit. I would sit, and then I would get up. And I eventually had to go to the hospital that night. And they found that he thought my kidney wasn't working. I had an ultrasound. And we could have spotted this early on, that I was being a big jerk and didn't go see the doctor. And many people don't. If you get any sign of a complication, I don't care if your legs are tingling, talk to your doctor, whether it be your GP or your endo. Just let someone know about it. And I've had a number of people say, well, I don't want to be a hypochondriac. Well, isn't it better to get things taken care of? I ended up losing the kidney. There was no way of helping it. And I laughed, saying, well, I gave birth to a 5-pound kidney. But it took a while to recuperate, and then I went back to work. Now, to this day, because now I have one kidney, they're always going to be looking at, have I a chance of losing a kidney or not? Who knows? To this day, I'm not on dialysis or anything like that. And now, if something's showing up that could be a symptom, I'll ask my doctor. And, I usually start off by saying, well, I'm not a hypochondriac, but... And he says, okay, what now? But he's glad I bring it up. Because it will affect your blood sugar control. Because if your body's constantly in the fight or flight, you have higher chance of going into DKA. And your blood sugars are going to be higher, which could cause other complications. And you never know where they're going to fit. If it was easy to say, well, if you keep your blood sugar 15 to 16 point whatever millimoles per deciliter, then you would get complication A. If you kept it up at 20, it would be complication B, and so on. So, take care of yourself. If you have any signs or any symptoms, get them looked at right away. And important enough, you need to start taking control of your diabetes, and you'll also have to start taking control of all your complications. For me, it was the eyes, it was the stomach now and the intestine. I had leg problems. It's no fun. So, that's our big tip for today. Have a great day. We'll talk again soon. Bye now.